Yeah, I'm living my best life. Made a couple M's, you know. Said I'm living my best life. Said I'm living my best life.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Random Opinions, Reaction, and Reviews. If you don't know who I am by now, you got to get with the program. You guys, so I'm coming to you today to do a review on the episode that just aired today on General Hospital. Today's date is June 11th, so let's go ahead and get into it. We opened with Sonny and Jason. And Sonny and Jason have just found out that Shiloh is going to be a free man. He is walking free as we speak. He is not going down for everything they worked so hard for him to go down for. So imagine Jason is pretty upset. He's steaming. He's fuming. He wants revenge. He also wants to warn Sam and let Sam know that this guy is out. So he's getting ready to leave Sonny's house, and Sonny's like, whoa, wait, you need to wait for a minute. Let me talk to you. You need to calm down. Woosah, calm down. Calm down. And Jason is like, no, man, I should have took this guy out a long time ago. And Sonny's like, look, I'm not disputing you on that, but going out there and killing him now, you're too much of a loose cannon. You cannot go out there. You might run into him, and then who knows what'll happen. You're impulsive right now. You're angry, and you have that right. But it's not going to do anybody any good if you kill this man and get locked up. And, that got Jason to calm down, and he got to thinking like, yeah, you're right, But like I said, he is out on a warpath, you guys. He is ready for this guy to be gone. So all he's waiting for is Sonny's MO to say, hey, go ahead and get this guy off the streets. And then he'll do it, He pretty much is starting to think. And I think that the reason why Jason calmed down is because you guys have to think about it. This man was gone from his family for 5 years. He lost 5 years of time that he could have spent with his family. It doesn't take a lot for him to think about what he's lost and what he could potentially lose. So I think that's like Jason's trigger word. For anybody to mention family, that'll get him into the mindset to think about what he's doing before he does it. Which we see way back when, before this even happened, when Jason was on the show. He was so impulsive, like he lived on edge. He was an adrenaline junkie. He was okay with killing somebody like that. And now, he's taking that time where he actually steps back and say, whoa, wait a minute, let me think before I do, And Jason's always been smart. So imagine with him having this mindset of I could lose my family any day, he's going to be even 10 times smarter in the steps that he takes when he kills. Then we have scenes today with Chase and Willow. And these were pretty nice scenes. And Willow is out of her mind. Chase comes to, well, at first, let me backtrack. Willow, she's happy. Diane has talked in her head. Everything's okay. There's no way Shiloh can find your son. You'll be fine. So she's banking on that. Here comes Chase, and he's like, look, I have bad news. Shiloh has walked away free. And Willow's like, how could this happen? And then she starts to put the pieces together. Okay, so Harmony must have went in and confessed to Shiloh's wrongdoings. And Chase is like, wait, how did you know that? And she's like, look, Harmony is my mother. She was the first person to join the trust. And then we have this backtrack and this story that she tells us of what really happened when they came to Donna Day. So I guess Harmony's father was the first person to enter into Donna Day. And he was sold up on it, but not as bad as Harmony got sold up on it. So he brought his family to Donna Day, and then Shiloh took a particular interest into Harmony, and Harmony worshipped the ground this man walked on. And it was so bad to the point that she started to isolate herself from her husband. And she eventually started to see her husband as this weak man, whereas Shiloh was so strong and everything nice and everything good. It became so bad till Shiloh ended up taking Harmony away. She was the first person to join the trust, like I said. And once she slept with Shiloh, everything went wrong in their life. And Harmony's husband was devastated. and eventually he left Donna Day. And I think it got even worse to where once he lost his daughter, and his daughter, well, Shiloh started to get a grasp on his daughter, it was hitting even worse for him. And so eventually he left Donna Day. And when he left Donna Day, a couple weeks later, maybe even months, he passed away. And so Willow kind of blames herself, and mostly she blames her mother for that, you know. And she never really talked about her dad because that is a horrible time in her life that she remembers. And she feels kind of at fault for losing her dad. Willow is knowing that in order to keep Wiley safe, she needs to separate herself completely and totally from him. So she has this little band, and it's a band that they put on mother and baby when they enter into the hospital so that the nurses know who they are. It's pretty much for the patient's safety, to make sure that medications from other patients haven't been given to the wrong patient. It's just an identifier for patients that come into the hospital. And so that was the last trace she had of her baby, a last souvenir like. And she was going to discard it and get rid of it because that's how much she wants to keep Wiley safe. And Chase is like, wait a minute. Give it to me. I'm going to hold on to it. And as soon as we get this bastard off the streets, I will give this back to you. And she completely and totally trusts Chase, which I'm happy for, because she needs someone strong that she can rely on. And she is also seeing that she has Chase, she has Diane, she has Alexis, Lucas and his family, she has Michael and his family. So she has a bunch of people rallying to keep Wiley safe, and she is aware of that. So I guess that's where her hope comes in, that Wiley will be safe. But we shall see what happens. So then we have scenes with Maxie and Peter. Now these scenes to me were excruciating as normal. For those of you who like Maxie and Peter, please let me know in the comments below. I really don't like these two together, and I've said that and I've stressed that in many videos. So I am definitely apologetic for the way I feel about this couple that they forged together, if they have a fan base. But for me, it's not going to change the way I feel about these two. I do not like them together. And so he pretty much comes to Crimson to whisk Maxie away on a trip. And Maxie looks at her calendar, and there's nothing on her calendar, but she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm booked for that weekend. So she's definitely, Maxie is still trying to recover from the loss of Nathan. So I feel like that's why she's putting a halt to everything Peter. And honestly, maybe it's because it doesn't feel right. I could be wrong. She's pretty much talking to Peter about Dante, and she's wanting to track Dante down and bring Dante home. Peter is he has his reserves about this idea. He thinks that Maxie should stay out of it and let Dante recover so that he can come back home and live with his family. And Maxie's like, we have to speed this process up, Peter. Like, we have to get Dante focused and let him know that his family is still here waiting for him. You know, and Peter is still like, he's on the fence, like, we should stay out of this. But I seen from today's episode that Maxie is using Lulu as a scapegoat, you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think? I think so. I think she's using this whole ploy to get Dante back because she knows it's going to take a while. She knows it's going to take her time, her energy, her focus, and she doesn't really want to take the net. She wants to, but, you know, she's still a widow, so she's not taking those extra steps to be able to continue a relationship with Peter, but she's trying her best. It's just that, you know, she's still held in bounds by the loss of Nathan. So then they have the scenes where they're just chilling on the floor in Crimson office, which I think is so unprofessional, Maxie. You should be working, not laying on the floor, caking it and kissing, you know. So she's kissing Peter, and, you know, like I said, I don't like this couple. That won't change. You know, they sit there and they discuss while they're on the floor. And Maxie's like, look, it's important that you know how I feel about you. And Peter's like, you know what? I already know. You're the first person to teach me how to love, and hopefully we can go ahead and continue to teach each other, you know. And it's just excruciating watching them. It's nasty, and I don't feel right. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, really. So then, you guys, we go to Shiloh, and Shiloh is getting closer and closer to finding Wiley. And even every little step I take, you will be there. Every little step I take, we'll be together. Y'all know that song from Bobby Brown? Anyway, every little step that he takes, it's getting closer and closer to finding out who Wiley is and uncovering the truth. And nobody knows that he's on to finding Wiley. So it's going to be even better because he's discreet. So they don't know. They don't have. And I'm wondering, like, Sam is such a kick-ass investigator. Why didn't she think to erase the records from the hospital? They have Spinelli, for God's sakes. They can do it if they wanted to, you know? But I digress. It's just crazy that nobody thought about that. Nobody thought to go and find, if you're going to erase all traces of Wiley, why wouldn't you go back to the very first step? He knows who Willow is. Shiloh knows her name, her name that she's going under now. He knows that she resides in Port Charles. He knows all that he needs to know in order to be able to track this baby down in regards to Willow. So why wouldn't they pretty much backtrack and start there and erase those records? It's what I'm wanting to know. So he goes and he pretty much talks this woman from Mercy Hospital, I guess the administrator, into giving him information about Willow. And he is a con artist, you guys. He lied his whole, like, for a man that teaches about truth and honesty, he is none of those. Like, he lies his way through the whole thing. Oh, Willow's my sister, you know, I care for her, I just don't know where she's at, so I want to find her. Is there anything you can tell me? I don't want to overstep, like, you know. And so the woman's like, you know what? I read your books. I'm a fan, actually. Like, I can give, like, this is against the law. I can break HIPAA. I could possibly lose my job. But I'll go ahead and do this for you, you know? And so she finds Willow was in the hospital around July of 2018, and that she was admitted into the obstetrics unit, and that she gave birth to a baby boy. And so he knows now that he has a son out there that was born sometime in July. So right now, what is it? We're in June, so that baby will be approaching 1 soon. So pretty much he's going to be targeting every kid looking and trying to do a DNA test or something. He steps closer to finding out who his son is. Then we have scenes with Sam and Shiloh. And Shiloh runs into Sam in Charlie's. And he is gloating, you guys. And he's like, Sam, I want to come to apologize to you. And Sam's like, what could you possibly have to apologize to me for? And he's like, I want to apologize if you think I did anything wrong. Just this garbage. And he still kind of in his head thought that he would be able to work Sam. And I think he's just narcissistic. He's an egotistical pig. He's a liar. He's a con artist. This man is everything bad this man is. Like, I just wanted to punch him in his face. And I know Sam did too. So he's talking to Sam and he's telling her that he got off because Harmony confessed to wrongdoing. And Sam was like, okay, but what about what you did? You took me against my will. You sit up here, you groped me, you tried to have sex with me against my will. Like, those were things you did. But you did the same thing that you did with Daisy and talked Harmony into taking the fall for you. She is just pissed. Like, this guy knows how to work the system. He knows the right people. She is, you know, she's not buying his act anymore. Like, she is just glad that she doesn't have to act herself anymore. And so he's taunting her, and then she taunts him back. Why? Because Sam is a beast. Sam is a boss in her own right. She knows how to, she seen he was a con miles and miles away. Before he even showed his face, she knew. She read right through him. So she can read him and know what gets to him, you know. And Shiloh does the same thing with other people. And that's the crazy thing about it. That's how he knows how to work his way around certain things, is because he can read people. And Sam can read him. So it makes him mad that he doesn't have that hold over her. And she knows, she's like, look, you came to town for me. And you're just mad that you don't have a hold over me like you thought you did. And so she begins to taunt the mess out of Shiloh. And she said to him, she's like, I lied to get exactly what I wanted from you, just like you lied to me. And she's like, how does it feel to know that you were kind to yourself, basically? And that ticked him off, you guys. He grabbed Sam's arm and he was like being very aggressive with her. And Jason, he showed up. You know, Jason ain't going. Like, you cannot touch Sam without Jason coming out of nowhere and him and somebody up. Like, Jason ain't never going. So Jason was like, careful, your next move could be your last move.
You made promises to me. Remember, you promised that you were going to help me heal, is that right?
Oh, yeah. Didn't I do that? I did promise you. Well, guess what? I lied. I lied to get what I wanted, just the way you lied to get what you wanted. I must say, the one thing I do admire about you is your skill to run a very long con.
No, honey, that's your area of expertise, not mine.
Good deeds didn't bring you to Port Charles, Hank. You came here looking for me. I saw it in your eyes. It made you happy thinking that you had me. Please. So who do you think's really running the con now? Me? Or you?
Careful. Your next move could be your last.
And so Shiloh like backed off, because that's what Shiloh does. He don't want no smoke with no man. He uses women because women are vulnerable and they eat up his garbage. So it just makes him mad that Sam is not one of those women, especially because she was his eye candy, his prize, that would have been probably his most greatest possession. And the fact that he doesn't have her makes him even worse. It makes him even madder. So then he starts to taunt Jason, and he's like, well, is she as good as a liar to you as she was to me? And Sam's like, I never lied to Jason. Every promise I had given to Jason, I've kept. And that makes Shiloh mad. Like, I know he is jealous of Jason. Like, I know it. Shiloh was spitting this garbage to Sam. Like, when I came to town, you were feeling me. You were attracted to me. And Sam is like, she was like, you know. Then he leaves. He's like, I have a kid that I have to look for, so I will see you guys later. I don't have time to play any more games with you. Jason and Sam get to talking, and Sam's sad that she went through with this plan, getting tattooed all for nothing. And she's like, you know what, I should have listened to you. I should have let you off him when you wanted to. And Jason is like, you know what, when you have a plan, you have to see it through. Like, and she's like, well, how did you feel about the plan? And he was like, I had nightmares thinking about Franco and that garbage that happened. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, you know what, you're so capable. And he didn't want Sam to back off of what she wanted to accomplish for him, because he knew just because Sam is scared of something that he may do, she wouldn't stand in the way of him doing it, you know. So he wanted to be supportive as well. Sam has lasting effects though from dealing with Shiloh, I know.
A few moments later.
You guys, I came outside because it's a beautiful day. But like I was saying, we had scenes today with Kristina and Sonny, and those were beautiful scenes. Kristina is pretty much trying to take responsibility for her actions and bringing welcome Shiloh into her family, and she feels deeply apologetic for that. And I love those scenes today. Like, at first I wanted to rant because she pled with Sonny that he not kill Shiloh, and so now Sonny is backed out. He calls Jason. He's like, look, we have to put our plans on hold because he's doing this for Kristina. And Kristina is like, look, you gotta let me fight my own battles. You gotta let me learn for myself. And he's like, look, I'm your dad. I'm always gonna be there for you. I'm always gonna step in when I feel like you need help. You know, that's what dads do. They rescue their daughters and they let their sons figure things out. And moms rescue their sons and spoil their sons and let their daughters figure things out. And so those were pretty good scenes today. So then we have scenes today with Alexis and Neil. And Alexis pretty much is pissed at Julian because Julian, remember the other day, he completely called Alexis out on her BS. And he's like, look, you're judging me for wanting to help my son, but look at what you did with your daughter. So Alexis is mad. So she's pretty much just mad about that because Julian was right. He called her out on being a hypocrite. Alexis was not feeling that. She was pissed. She was like pretty much telling Neil everything, how she felt, and she came to a conclusion that Kristina is pretty much feels some type of way about Alexis because she feels that Alexis is ethically challenged, which makes her more dangerous. So she'll step outside the law when she has to, whereas Sonny is just true to himself, and he, you know, he knows that he's a killer. He knows that he's a mob boss. He knows that he's selfish, whereas Alexis, she's a do-gooder, but then she steps out of, you know, that do-good zone, that line, to be able to do things that benefit herself. And she feels like that's why Kristina feels threatened by her, and that's why she gave a secret to Shiloh instead of giving one to about Sonny. Then she was talking to Neil and she's like, what about you? How would you feel if your daughter did the da 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 da? And Neil was like, you know what? I draw the line. I told you that this has nothing to do with me. We have to keep things professional. And he pretty much ended their session. So Alexis comes back to apologize to him. And, you know, he's like, look, I told you from day one that this is a patient-doctor relationship. I will not be including anything regarding my personal life. And Alexis is like, you know what? I did overstep my boundaries. I looked you up. You know, I asked you questions that I'm not supposed to. I am sorry. And so then she leaves. And what I got out of today's episode, that if I didn't know any better, you guys, I would say that Willow is definitely the daughter of Neil. Neil knows where his daughter's at. He just probably don't know who his daughter is because, you know, it's probably been a while. It's probably been a while and he don't recognize her. So, you know, I guess we'll have to see. What do you guys think about today's episode? Or did you like it? How do you feel about Kristina in this new enlightenment? Are you guys happy for her? Do you feel like she's growing? Do you feel like she's learning? Also, do you think that Neil is the father of Willow? Do you feel that Shiloh will find out who his baby is? And when do you guys feel like this storyline with Wiley being Jonah, when do you think that will be revealed? And are you tired of Michael not knowing that his son is right up under his nose? You guys let me know in the comments below. I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, you guys. Subscribe. Subscribing is very important. Subscribe to my channel, and I guess I will see you guys later. Bye.
I finally made my mind know that I can't go back broke. They saying that my time up, my back against the rope. I hustle, got my grind.